Well, thanks for coming today and taking time out of your busy summer schedules to come by. And as you notice, I put in front of you an anticipation guide. So if you take a couple minutes to fill it out, just to get our thoughts going, and we'll share some stuff on it in a moment or two. So maybe another minute or so to wrap up some thoughts. And also, as you can tell from the title of the anticipation guide, today we're going to talk about family literacy and what that means to us as teachers and what it means to parents as well. But let's go over the anticipation guide a little bit. The first statement said parents with limited English proficiency have difficulties promoting their child's education at home. And how do we feel about that? Did anybody agree with that statement?
I agree with that.
I disagree.
Casey, you agreed? Do you want to tell us, Frank, why you agreed with it?
I agree with it because I believe that if they can't speak the same language as what the children is being educated in, then they have a hard time connecting with that material and promoting the doing of the homework and promoting. They can't help with the homework, so how can they promote that the child does it?
Right, those are good points. Now, you disagreed?
I disagree because it's hard, but sometimes parents, they'll find other ways around it to still help them. Yeah, that's why I disagree.
Okay, good. How about the second one? Working with parents is always a positive experience.
Disagree.
I disagree too.
Disagree with that? What would be an example? What's a challenge when working with parents?
The language barrier.
Language barrier, okay.
That's a big problem. I mean, just because you have a translator doesn't mean that you can get all of your thoughts across.
Yes.
Things are lost in translation. And also, some parents don't care.
Okay.
It's unfortunate to say that, but it's true. You want what's best for the kid, and sometimes they don't.
Right. Okay. How about we'll go to the next statement? A literacy-rich environment is influenced by family's socioeconomic status.
Disagree.
I disagree too.
Disagree? Do you want to tell us a little bit why you disagree?
I felt that even though someone doesn't really have money doesn't mean that they don't care, and that I don't really think it influences.
Okay, good. And like, you'll know, like with the first one where we had to agree and disagree, I mean, a lot of these are ambiguous, and that's kind of the point, but they're really just to get our discussions started. The last one says helping low literate adults improve their basic skills has a direct impact on the education and quality of life of their children.
Strongly agree.
Strongly agree? So
Agree.
we all probably agree
Yeah.
on that. Okay, the next, I want to have a couple open-ended questions on this too. So what are some of the ways parents could support children in school? Did you guys want to maybe each share one thing you wrote, or, it could be the same too, of course.
I put helping with their homework, and then talking to them about their day. How was their day? What happened? Anything they want to share.
Okay, good.
That's a good one, because no matter what language they speak, they can ask what their day was like.
Right,
Obviously, they can
exactly.
communicate with their own child. I put limiting electronic entertainment
Okay, good.
because I believe that that's a huge problem with
And
education.
Increasing now.
And
without
increasing
the-
reading at home and increasing the doing of the homework in a centered environment.
Right, okay, good. How about what are 2 or 3 community resources that are available in providing support for the parents of the students at our school?
I put library and then like the internet, computers.
Okay, good.
I had the library, but I also had like possibly if they needed more resources that they couldn't get themselves, they could call the social worker at the school, etc.
Okay, good. And the library is usually like kind of a big one. I mean, a lot of, the library in our school is right next door. So that's really convenient. But of course, there's the challenge for the kids, you know, transportation and whatnot, because it is a pretty big suburb. But we're going to move on to the topic. And the topic is how can we promote literacy by fostering a homeschool environment? And the importance of that, you know, a lot of people talk about family literacy, literacy at home, but you know, what the whole objective of the lesson is to strengthen the home-school relationship, to support parents with literacy, and also to raise our awareness as teachers on how parents could contribute, whether there's language difficulties or not. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, we want to work with the parents and the community resources so we can kind of strengthen and create a good framework, because what happens in a lot of school districts is they start some type of literacy program working with parents, and it's usually a pretty positive experience, but what happens is it kind of fizzles out after time because there's not a clear direction. So what we want to do today, starting today, is create a framework on how we could develop family literacy at home and strengthen that homeschool bond. So, you know, some of the things I want to talk about, why are these things important? They're important because if you think about the social and economic disadvantage that more than half of our students and their families come from, it's very important to have these type of programs at our school. Another thing, though, is for us as teachers to also raise our awareness, to encourage our reflection, because some of the things we already do. Different classrooms might do it, different teachers, different school programs, we might already do. But what happens is if you do these things without reflecting on them and adapting them as needed, that's how you sometimes get into the road where they might fizzle out after time. So just some of the things that this is based on, studies have shown that for students, when there's family literacy programs between families and the schools, achievement improves. Oral language acquisition accelerates, writing improves, and the motivation to read improves. And especially if you think about the oral language, you know, there's been many studies of how, you know, students that come, or children that come from homes where English is spoken or have been exposed to a lot of different words, are at an advantage when they get to school, as opposed to students who may not have been exposed to so many words as they're entering preschool or kindergarten. This also has some great benefits for parents too, though, and that's kind of the point why we're calling it family literacy. Parental reading increases, which a lot of us as teachers know that when, you know, modeling, a lot of it starts at home when kids see their parents reading. It makes parents more socially aware and more apt to self-advocate for themselves when they have more knowledge of what is available to them in the community and also at the school, and when that bond and relationship is strengthened between the school. It also could elevate their employment status or more job satisfaction as they are getting more interested in more, or have more access to community resources. And also it improves their attitudes towards education, which came up in the beginning that a lot of parents might not care. Maybe it's their experience as students or whatever it is. I mean, we don't really know, but the studies have shown that we could help improve the parents' attitudes towards school. So, well, I want to get started with a couple of things. I know that in the beginning of the school year, a lot of the things we do is we're trying to create a classroom community as some getting to know you activities. And one of the things that are really popular is to do an interest survey with our students. What kind of things do they like to read? What do they do at home? What do they do for fun? So kind of the goal today is to do a parent interest survey since this is the beginning of the school year. But of course we're going to think about what we're going to base that on. So when you do this with the students, you think, you know, what do I want to learn about them? You know, how many books do they have at home? What are some other things they might typically be on an interest survey? What do you guys think? You know, what kind of questions do we want to maybe ask them in the beginning of the year?
What are they interested in?
Yeah.
Are they interested in history? Are they interested in fiction? Are they interested in sports? So you can try to direct your selections of books so you can have something that they're interested in.
Right.
Because if somebody's not interested in the material, they're not going to be interested in reading it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, a lot of the things we do at the beginning of the year is we want our students to be motivated. And then when we know more of their interests, it's a little easier to engage them. And we're kind of going to go with the same philosophy on parents. We want to find out